Hi, good evening, good morning to everybody. In the first year, we discussed the three mathematics papers, Mathematics 1, Mathematics 2 and Mathematics 3. In second year, we are going to study the another mathematics paper. Its name is Complex Variables and Statistical Methods. Here we have two different concepts are there. One is complex variables, second one is statistical methods. Coming to the introduction to complex variable theory, in this course we introduce complex differentiation, complex integration, complex power series, Cauchy residue theorem, evaluation of real different integrals. Complex differentiation, complex integration, complex power series, Cauchy's residue theorem and evaluation of real different integrals using Cauchy's residue theorem. These are the main contents in complex variable theory. Then what are the applications of complex variable theory? The complex variable theory is useful in two-dimensional Laplace equation. Two-dimensional Laplace equation. Two-dimensional Laplace equation is dou square u by dou x square plus dou square u by dou y square is equal to 0. We can solve easily this one by Cauchy-Riemann equations or by complex variable theory. So the first application of complex variable theory is solve two-dimensional Laplace equation by means of conformal mapping. Second one, quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. Most of the equations in quantum mechanics we can easily solve with the help of Cauchy-Riemann equations. Next one, series expansions. Both Taylor series, Maclaurin series, Lorentz series, all are expanded easily with the analytic functions. With the help of analytic functions. Next one, transformation between special functions, Heaviside functions and kernel of the functions. Transformation between special functions. Next one, evaluate real definite integrals by Cauchy residue theorem. So these are the applications of complex variable theory. First one is solution of Laplace equation by means of conformal mapping. Next one, quantum mechanics. Next one, series expansions with analytic functions, transformation between special functions. And next one, evaluate definite integrals by Cauchy's residue theorem. Then coming to the introduction to statistical methods. In this course, we introduce introduction to probability concepts, random variables, both discrete and continuous, and probable distributions for discrete and continuous random variables. Sampling distributions, sampling distribution of mean with standard deviation is known, sampling distribution of mean with standard deviation is unknown. And estimations, estimations of population parameters like mean, variance, standard deviation whenever sigma is known or sigma is unknown. And next one, test of hypothesis, test of significance. Test of hypothesis for large samples, test of hypothesis for small samples, for proportions using chi-square test, attribute test, like that. So these are the main contents in the statistical methods. Once again, first one is probability concept, random variable concept, probable distributions, sampling distributions, estimations, and test of hypothesis, test of significance. These are the main contents in statistical methods. So what are the applications of statistical methods? Statistical methods are used, companies use statistics to calculate the defects in their products, and companies use statistics to improve the manufacturing quality, manufacturing quality and their product, calculate the defects in their products. Next one is statistics help in collecting, presenting, analysis, interpreting the data in education. Next one, statistics also used in research work for interpreting the data. First one is companies use statistics to calculate the defects in their products and to improve the manufacturing quality. Statistics help in collecting and presenting analysis, interpreting the data in education. Next one, statistics are used in research work. For interpreting the data. Then coming to the total contents of the course is, here we have 5 units. Coming to the total contents of the course, we have 5 units. First one is functions of complex variables and complex integration. Second one is complex power series and residues. Third one is probability distributions. Fourth one is sampling distribution. Fifth one is test of hypothesis. Functions of complex variables and complex integration. Complex power series and residues. How to do the complex differentiation, that is discussed in unit 1. Complex integration, and again unit 1. Complex power series like Taylor series, Maclaurin series, Lorentz series, and residues at the poles of order 1, of order n, like that, and evaluation of real different integrals by Cauchy's residue theorem. Next, probability distributions like binomial, Poisson, normal, sampling distributions. Next, sampling distribution, estimations. Next, unit 5, test of hypothesis. Among the 5 units, first two units are related to complex variable theory. Remaining 3 units are related to statistical methods. Total course name is complex variables and statistical methods. First 2 units are related to complex variable theory. Remaining 2 units are related to statistical methods. These are complex variable theory. These are related to statistical methods. Then coming to the course objectives of this course is to familiarize the complex variables. Next, to familiarize the students with the foundations of probability and statistical methods. To familiarize the students with the foundations of probability and statistical methods. And third concept is to equip the students to solve applications problems in their disciplines. So we have 3 objectives of this course. One is to familiarize the complex variables, to familiarize the students with the applications of probability and statistical methods, to equip the students to solve applications of problems in their disciplines. These are the course objectives. Then coming to the course outcomes of the subject is apply Cauchy-Riemann equations to complex functions in order to determine whether the function is analytic. Next one, find the differentiation and integration of a complex functions used in engineering problems. First one is Cauchy-Riemann equations. Then find the differentiation and integration of complex functions used in engineering problems. Complex differentiation and complex integration. Then make use of the Cauchy residue theorem in evaluation of real definite integrals. These are the 3 outcomes related to complex variable theory. First one is apply the Cauchy-Riemann equations to complex functions in order to determine whether the function is analytic. Second one, find the complex differentiation and complex integration used in engineering problems. Next one, evaluation of real definite integrals, use of Cauchy residue theorem. Next one, what are the outcomes of statistical methods? Here we have 3 outcomes are there related to statistical methods. First one is apply discrete and continuous probability distributions. Second one, design the components of classical test of hypothesis. Third one is infer the inferential methods based on small and large tests. These are the 3 course outcomes related to statistical methods. We have 2 different concepts. One is complex variable theory, second one is statistical methods, and we have 3 outcomes related to complex variable theory, and we have 3 outcomes related to statistical methods. Then coming to the total unit 1 contents of unit 1. Here the unit 1 name is functions of complex variable and complex integration. Functions of complex variable and complex integration. Here we have 2 chapters. One is complex variable, second one is complex integration. Coming to the contents in chapter 1 is introduction to complex variable theory, functions of complex variable, continuity and derivability of a complex function, analytic functions, Cauchy-Riemann equations, harmonic functions, and introduction to complex integration. This is the second chapter of unit 1. Introduction to complex integration, Cauchy's integral theorem, Cauchy's integral formula. Once again, see the contents of chapter 1. Chapter 1 is functions of complex variable, that is completely in complex differentiation. Here introduction to complex variable theory. Second one, functions of complex variable, continuity, derivability of a complex valued function, analytic functions, CR equations, harmonic functions. These are the contents in complex differentiation. Next, contents in complex integration are introduction to complex integration, how to do the complex integration, and how to evaluate the complex integration by direct method, and how to evaluate the complex integration by Cauchy residue theorem, or by Cauchy's integral formula, or by generalized Cauchy's integral formula. These are the main contents in second chapter. So second chapter contents are introduction to complex integration, Cauchy integral theorem, and Cauchy's integral formula. The first chapter contents are introduction of complex variable, functions of complex variable, continuity and derivability, analytic. Next one is Cauchy-Riemann equations and harmonic functions. These are the contents in chapter 1. These are the contents in chapter 2. Remaining are in chapter 1. So we have 2 chapters, complex differentiation and complex integration. Chapter 1 weightage is 7 marks, chapter 2 weightage is 7 marks. And your prescribed textbook is Complex Variables and Statistical Methods by TKV Aidgar, 3 other, and BK Gandhi, S. Chan Publications, and BS Gravel, 43rd edition. Then coming to the topic 1 of unit 1, introduction to complex variable theory. Generally, what is meant by complex number? Complex number means z is equal to x plus jy, or z is equal to x plus iy, x plus jy. Here both x and y are related to real numbers. Both are real numbers, but x is real part of z, y is imaginary part of z. So generally complex numbers are really 2 numbers packaged into one entity. That means z is equal to x plus jy. X, y are both are related to real numbers. X is real part, y is imaginary part. So real part of z is x, imaginary part of z is y, and its conjugate number is z bar, that is equal to x minus iy. Z bar equal to x minus iy. It is a complex number, z minus xj. Then z bar is x minus jy. Then coming to the how to represent the complex plane in Cartesian coordinates. In Cartesian coordinate like in xy plane, here horizontal axis corresponds to the real axis, vertical axis corresponds to the imaginary axis. On real axis x units, on imaginary axis y units, and plot the point corresponding to x comma y. This is z equal to x plus jy, or z is equal to x comma y. Z is equal to x comma y. This is the representation of complex plane in xy plane, or in xy Cartesian coordinates. Horizontal axis corresponding to real axis, vertical axis corresponding to imaginary axis, and plot the point z is equal to x plus jy, z equal to x comma y, or z equal to x plus jy. Then coming to the how to represent the complex plane in polar form. In polar form, Z means Z is equal to, in polar form Z is R e power I theta. This R e power I theta obtained from Z equal to x plus jy by replacing x equal to R cos theta and y is equal to R sin theta. The complex number in polar form Z equal to R e power I theta obtained from complex number Z equal to x plus jy by replacing x by R cos theta, y by R sin theta. We get Z is equal to R e power I theta. R is the radius and theta is the angle of amplification. And how to represent the complex number in polar coordinates? Here real axis, instead of real axis R, instead of vertical axis theta, x axis, y axis, and plot the point Z equal to x plus jy. Here this line represents the radius of the circle. This is the theta in between the vertical horizontal axis and the radius, that is theta. This theta is generally, this theta is equal to tan inverse y by x. Theta equal to tan inverse y by x, and R is modulus of the complex number, that is x square plus y square. So the complex number in Cartesian coordinates is Z equal to x plus jy. Here x is real part, y is imaginary part. The complex number in polar form is Z equal to R e power I theta. This one obtained from the complex number by replacing every x by R cos theta, y by R sin theta. Here theta is tan inverse y by x, R is root over x square plus y square. Then coming to the, here e power j theta means cos theta plus j sin theta is already discussed in previous slide, and z is equal to R e power j theta, R cos theta plus j R sin theta. The x is R cos theta, y is equal to R sin theta. So these are the transformation between Cartesian and polar coordinates. X equal to R cos theta, y is equal to R sin theta, and remember z value R e power I theta. Then x square plus y square is generally R square cos square theta plus R square sin theta, that is equal to R square. This is represents a circle with the center 0, 0 and radius R units, or the modulus of the complex number is R is root over x square plus y square. And this is the representation of complex plane in polar coordinates, already discussed in the previous slide. Real axis, imaginary axis, and radius theta. Theta is tan inverse of y by x. So finally, mod z whole square means x square plus y square, that equals c square. It represents a circle, center at origin and radius c units. This is also called modulus of the complex number in Cartesian coordinates. So mod z whole square is equal to, mod z whole square is z into z bar, that is x square plus y square. What about z? X plus jy. Z bar is x minus jy. Its product is x square plus y square. This one represents the modulus of the complex domain. Then coming to the second topic of unit 1, functions of complex variable. Here function means a mapping. So functions of complex variable. Functions of complex variable means it is a mapping from D to W. That means every point of D is mapped with a complex number in W plane. So this mapping is like this. Here D and here W, D, W. Here one complex number mapped with another complex number. F of Z is equal to U plus IV. U plus IV. Here one complex number mapped with another complex number in W plane. So f of z is a mapping from D to W in such a way that every point of D mapped with a point of W in complex plane. So set D is called domain of the complex function. Generally it is in the form f of z equal to W equal to U of x comma y plus I into V of x comma y, or simply U plus IV. Simply U plus IV. Here U is called real part of f of z, V is called imaginary part of f of z. U is real part and V is imaginary part of f of z. What is the complex function? F of z equal to this one. u of x comma y plus I into v of x comma y, or simply u plus iv. U is real part and v is called imaginary part. So total complex function means is a mapping from D to W. D is called domain of the complex function. Then it is generally it is in the form of f of z equal to u of x comma y plus I into v of x comma y to u plus iv, where u is real part f of z and v is called imaginary part of f of z. The examples. Then coming to the next one, continuity of a complex function. Continuity of a complex function means we have to satisfy two conditions. A complex function f of z equal u plus iv is said to be continuous at z equal z naught. This condition is continuous at z equal z naught if f of z is defined in the neighborhood of z naught and limit z tends to z naught, f of z equal to f of z naught. F of z is defined and satisfying the conditions limit z tends to z naught, f of z is equal to f of z naught. Limit z tends to z naught, or limit delta z tends to z naught, f of z is equal to f of z naught, then this function is continuous. Here f of z is continuous everywhere in the domain, then function is called continuous function. Then coming to the examples. First example, z square is continuous for all z. For every value of z, this f of z is defined and limit also exists. F of z equal z by z minus 2 is continuous for all z except z equal to 2. Since at z equal to 2 it is not defined. It is defined means it is continuous, not defined means not continuous. And f of z equal to z by z into z minus 2 is continuous for all z except z equal to 0 and 2. Since at z equal to 0 it is undefined, z equal to 2 it is also undefined. So this function is continuous everywhere except z equal to 0 and z equal to 2. And this function is continuous everywhere except z equal to 2. First one is continuous for all z. It is continuous except to 2. And it is except to z equal to 0 and 2. These are the examples of continuity. Then coming to the derivative of a complex function. How to do the complex differentiation? Complex differentiation. It means f dash of z. What about f dash of x? F dash of x means or f dash of x naught means limit x tends to 0, limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x naught by delta x exists. This is the f dash of x. F dash of x naught means limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x naught by delta x. But f dash of z naught means limit delta z tends to 0, limit delta z tends to 0, f of z plus delta z minus f of z naught by z minus z naught exists. That is the derivative of f of z at z equal to z naught. So a complex variable function f of z is said to be derivable at z equal to z naught if f of z is continuous. First of all, f of z is continuous at the neighborhood of z naught and limit value exists, rate of change of f of z at z naught. So limit delta z tends to 0, f of z plus delta z minus f of z naught by z minus z naught exists, then that function is said to be derivable. So how to apply the limit concept as delta z tends to 0? So delta z tends to 0 means that along x axis, along y axis, along the line y is equal to mx. In all the directions, limit value exists, limit is unique, then this function is said to be derivable. So a complex function is said to be derivable at z equal z naught. First of all, this f of z is continuous in that z equal z naught. Continuous means limit value exists and it is defined. Next, limit delta z tends to 0, f of z plus delta z minus f of z naught by z minus z naught exists. Rate of change of f of z with respect to z exists. Then that function is said to be derivable. Then how to do the limit concept? Limit delta z tends to 0 means along x axis, along y axis, along the line y is equal to mx. Along the x axis, First put y equal to 0. Then apply the limit concept as x tends to 0. Along y-axis, first put x equal to 0, delta x equal to 0 and apply the limit concept as y tends to 0. Then along the line y is equal to mx. In this case, replace every y by mx. Then apply the limit concept as delta x tends to 0. Then what are the examples of derivative of a function? Here f of z equals z square is derivable for all z. For example, f of z is z square. So f dash of z value, limit delta z tends to 0, f dash of z is limit delta z tends to 0, f of z plus delta z minus f of z by delta z. What is f of z? Z square. Z plus delta z means z plus delta z whole square. And apply a plus b whole square. Z square 2z delta z plus delta z square minus z square. Z square cancel. That is 2z delta z plus delta z square by delta z. This is 2z plus delta z. As delta z tends to 0, it becomes 2z. So what is the derivative of f of z equals z square? It is 2z. It is 2z. That is the example of a derivative of a complex function. So what do we discuss in this class? First one is introduction to complex variable theory. Second one, introduction to statistical methods. Then coming to the contents in unit 1, in which we cover the introduction to complex numbers. Second one, functions of complex variable, continuity of a complex variable, derivability of a complex function. Their examples: introduction to complex variable theory, introduction to statistical methods, what are the applications of complex variables, what are the applications of statistical methods, and contents in unit 1, in which introduction to complex variable theory is covered, functions of a complex variable, continuity of a complex variable, derivability of a complex variable function. These are the topics we discussed in this class. Next class I am going to explaining the analytic functions and CR equations and their examples. Okay, thank you.